everyone, thank you for joining me. Today is Tuesday, so it's time for another Tuesday technique. Today's technique is a really simple one, and it's around adding extra dimension to your projects. So I've got my little project here, and then I've got a couple of images that I have stamped and coloured and fussy cut, and we have our wonderful dimensionals that add some dimension to a project, but sometimes you just want a little bit more. And there is a really easy way to do that, and all you need is your bone folder. So all I'm going to do is I'm simply going to take my bone folder in my dominant hand, holding my die cut or my fussy cut element or whatever it might be in my non-dominant hand, and I'm just going to pop my bone folder behind that piece, and I'm going to use my thumb and I'm just kind of rolling it around my bone folder. And you can do it in one direction, you can do it in both directions, depends what you're kind of looking for. But can you see, I don't know how well it'll show on camera, maybe if I put it down on the desk, how it's not completely flat anymore. It's got some dimension to it. So it just means that when I pop it on my project, instead of it just laying flat, it's got a little bit of something to it. And you can go either way. So I might perhaps take most of this one that way, and you can do it as many times as you need to. It's a little bit harder when you've got a larger piece, and this one's a bit fiddly. I've got a couple of dainty leaves on there, but I might want to perhaps bring those leaves forward a little bit. Actually, maybe we'll bring all the leaves forward a little bit, like that. And then when I pop it on my project, then I don't know how well you can see, if I kind of loosely hold it and then tip it, can you see that there's like a bit of dimension to it now? It's not completely flat, and it's just a fun way to add a little bit of extra dimension and a little bit of extra texture to your project. So it's super simple, but it's something that if you haven't seen it before, you might not know that it's an option. I absolutely love doing this. I find as well that it can be really helpful, even so I would still use dimensionals for this piece, and then those kind of bits that flick out are kind of even more prominent. But it's just a fun little option to add a bit of extra texture to your projects. And actually you could then, if you wanted to, you could glue it down flat. You could maybe put a glue dot behind it, so you're still kind of getting that texture and dimension without kind of bulking out your card. So it's a really good option if you've created a card or a project that's got a lot of layers to it. So especially if it's kind of something that you're going to be posting, if something's got a lot of layers, obviously you need to be mindful of the kind of parameters for postage and things, so it can be a fun way to add a little bit extra without adding extra weight. And then when you pop it in an envelope, it might flatten down a little bit, but you'll still get that kind of little bit of extra dimension. So that's it for today, just a quick simple one, something else to add to your little toolbox of techniques for when you're creating. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed today's video, I'd love it if you would give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do a little happy dance every time I get notified that I have a new subscriber. It really does mean the world. So thank you so much for joining me, and I do hope you'll join me again next week for the next Tuesday technique. Thanks, take care, bye.